I was so dumb, but I hopped on a plane, almost drove right back to the 541. Shitty U-turn on the freeway, you turn me from a fiend to a way to you fun. I can wait in the sun for a little, but it's been real gray, and tonight it's a nice C1. I can wait in the cold for a while at the...
Is it too loud? Am I yelling?
Sound good.
Alright.
I mean, just don't start yelling, and I guess you won't be yelling.
I mean, I will start yelling, because that's kind of what I do. That's sort of a thing I do.
That's the MO. I do like that you have the mic in the camera shot, too. That's perfect. Seriously, I'm being genuine when I say that. It looks awesome. Especially with the background. You look like you're at the underground or whatever.
Hipster coffee shop. That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Little deaf comedy jam.
Yep.
Yeah, deaf poetry jam, more like it. Yeah.
Right off the Santa Monica Pier. That's what I'm going for.
All right, let's get going. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I'm Alex at TSP Pod. He's King at Jeromny. He's Ski at TSP Ski. If you're still on Twitter, you can reach out to one of those handles. We might respond. I don't know. That's how Twitter works. We're also on Discord, Sports Brewery in the Discord. If you need an invitation to that, ask us on Twitter. Also, twitch.tv/abrog87, ABRAWG87. We record the podcast live once a week. It's Tuesday this week, also going to be Tuesday next week. And then I think we should be returning back to the normal Thursday routine after that. Also on YouTube, search for the Sports Brewery on YouTube. You can watch those streams on there if you miss them. Movie on Sunday. We are starting Christmas month, and the movie you are to watch from Ski is on Tubi. So be ready for some commercials. I think as we discussed with the Weird Al movie, there are commercials on Tubi, so be ready for those. It is Santa with Muscles. Santa with Muscles. Now, I know what that sounds like. It's not what you think it is. It is a Hulk Hogan vehicle. So,
oh yeah,
Santa with Muscles. Watch it. Listen to us talk about it. Booble calls it a Hogan classic. So
classic, yeah. Right?
Watch it. Listen to us talk about it on Sunday. Where should we start with sports? Probably. I mean, there's nothing else really to talk about other than football and
I don't know. The Pistons, let's dive deep into Detroit Pistons basketball.
Yeah.
14 straight losses. That's not great.
I mean,
Kate Cunningham is just not facilitating the ball enough.
Isaiah Stewart, come on, man. I know you're undersized. Man the paint.
I've always
Stick out
said
some
that.
elbows.
Yeah.
I've always said that.
Yeah. We, as a podcast, have a staunch stance on those things. We are sticking to them. And you know what? Fix it. That's all we have to say. Fix it, and we'll stop talking about
Monty
it.
Williams, do your job. They gave you $80 million. Do your job.
Yep. You're pushing the Orlando Magic, who lost 19 straight in 2003. And I didn't just read that from our chat. I knew that stat off the top of my head. Yeah. So, figure it out, Detroit.
They call that the pre-Mac era.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
T-Mac. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Actually, T-Mac may have been on those teams. Nice.
He is old. So
Don't Google it.
Possible.
Don't look it up. It's
Yeah,
fine.
don't look it up. Don't look it up.
No. So there's lots to talk about. Last Civil War, until next year, happened, and Oregon dominated. After the game ended, Oregon State's coach left, seemingly insinuating...
Some could argue he left weeks ago.
Seemingly insinuating, and not really hiding it, that he had been thinking about leaving for a long time. And so that happened. Also, the Pac-2 is nearing a deal with the Mountain West to have quote-unquote conference games. Not really. They're not conference games, but a schedule next year. No. They also lost a court. There's like a court stay that's bring in the other 10 schools into making decisions about, like, board decisions about what happens to them, basically. So lots to talk about. I think we should start with the game itself, because I think we learned. It's weird to say this in like the last regular season game, but I think we learned that Oregon's pretty fucking legit right now. like we went into it thinking, like, yes, Oregon's defense is good. Yes, Bo Nix is good, but Oregon State runs the ball and is really physical, and they're going to be able to do some of that. And it might be a close game. I don't know. I think some people thought they might blow them out, but it might be a close game just because it usually is. But fucking Oregon just dominated every aspect of that football game. It was not close. Offense, defense.
Not special teams.
No.
Special teams are still not special.
Still not special. But manhandled Oregon State. Absolutely dominated them. Like, took a physical team and made them look soft.
And the problem with this is the final score, 31-7. It wasn't even that close.
It wasn't.
Lanning's had a little problem with this of games that the Ducks just dominate, but then pundits and people that don't actually watch the game just look at the score and be like, oh, maybe that was a close game and Oregon scored a couple late touchdowns to push it, to a 24-point win. No, that Ducks should have won by 40 in that game.
40? Whoa!
If they would have kept their foot on the gas the entire second half, they could have scored at least another 3 touchdowns. I mean, the entire fourth quarter was just trying to kill the clock, more or less.
Are you saying Dan Lanning, with something to play for, should go full Brian Kelly, who has nothing to play for but a Heisman, and just run it up with the quarterback? If he gets hurt, oh well, doesn't matter.
I mean, Bo was playing the whole game anyways, so kinda.
But football mind says no. You do what Lanning does. You take the comfortable win and all that. But we're in a 4-team playoff system now. You need to have things that, separate you from the other one-loss teams. Luckily, it seems like the college football playoff people seem to think very highly of Oregon in general.
They do. It seems like they're actually watching games. And by the way, 31-7 to like a top 20 team is nothing to sort of scoff at. I mean, that is a nice win, and they have been dominating teams lately. And so I think the committee, just by consistently putting them as the top one-loss team, is telling us that if Oregon beats Washington, they're basically going to be in, unless like Bama beats Georgia and all hell breaks loose or something like that. But I think Oregon's probably in if they beat Washington, especially if they beat them by like a couple touchdowns, like Vegas is saying they're going to do.
Like I'm still seeing Oregon fans being like, "What about Texas? Oh, I can see Texas."
Okay, what about Texas? Like, stop it.
The committee has told you for 5 straight weeks what they think about Oregon v. Texas, and if Oregon wins, they beat the number
3 team. Yeah. Same
undefeated team.
And if Texas wins, it's like, I don't know, number 20 something, but a team that falls to 9-4.
Is Oklahoma still ranked?
Yeah, Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, yeah.
I think they're like 21 or something. Yeah. Like right behind the Beavers, I think. Something like that. But, yeah. So please, stop worrying about Texas. It's not happening.
And you could see it by Ohio State is right behind the Ducks. There's a gap. They have a team that is not playing in their conference championship, separating them and the 2 other one-loss teams. So clearly that just shows how highly they think of the Ducks.
Absolutely,
and especially
winning you're in. Period.
If you look at, I always tend to look at Vegas. Vegas tends to know what's going on because they don't want to lose money. The Ducks are the 3rd choice to win the national championship betting wise right now. That means Vegas thinks very highly that they're going to get in. And I think this spreads at 9.5 right now.
It does feel like a disrespectful spread.
It does.
Washington hasn't lost since like October 8th of 2022. Yeah.
They've won like 6 one-score games this year or something
for all their 2-point wins. I totally get it. 9.5 feels like a lot. And
Penix is vomiting into trash cans on the sidelines.
Oh, God. Don't even get me started on that bullshit. And the offensive coordinator is feeling under the weather. Then come out and say he has Lyme disease. Because we're going on like week 7 of him being under the weather. He's either injured or he's got mono. Like, just I know you can't say it, but just fucking say it. Like, it's enough.
We went through this with Will Richardson.
Yeah.
He was playing terribly, and it's like, oh, he's still sick. Whatever he had.
They said mono. That's what they said.
Yeah, it was mono. Yeah.
Yeah, they come out and say it though, like you said.
Or he got a concussion. Like, to say that too, that's fine. Or several.
I personally think against the Ducks, I think he might have cracked a rib or something, and maybe on that last sack, it, hurt real bad. And they, you get nauseous if your fucking ribs are hurting that bad.
I know he hasn't been good for a while. Like, he's got really good receivers who he is leaning on, but other than that, he's made some pretty weird decisions and has been pretty inaccurate. So,
well, it should have thrown 2 picks on that last drive against Wazoo.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Dunze made a great job.
He's really good
deflecting one, but the other, he threw 2 moon balls, and good for them. It worked out.
Yep. Also, I'll go as far as to say, so Oregon's in if they win. Nix wins the Heisman if they win. Like, I'll go as far as to say that. That might not be going out on too much of a leap here or too much of a ledge, but
I mean, the funny thing about that is it just depends where you look.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at ESPN, Jaden Daniels has it on lock. Paul Feinbaum is going to make it his personal mission. Booger McFarland is going to make it his personal mission. All these guys, and please do not say it's because they have the SEC network and they are paying to take over SEC games. It's all organic, guys. They just all really feel strongly about the guy who was doing the Heisman pose at 6-3 and the coach who has made sure everything runs through him for the last month because they had nothing to play for. Nothing. All they had to play for was the Heisman. If LSU had to play for something more, he's probably not in there in the fourth quarter against an FCS team. He's probably not playing late against Army in early November. Thank you for your service. It's enough. It's enough. But like I said,
are you trying to say Gator Bowls aren't important to play for?
Well, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. But if you look at like Vegas, Bo Nix is the favorite. It's not big. It's not big odds, but he's the favorite. It's just insane to me.
As a game where he could shit the bed still. That's
of course. But if they win on Friday, he's going to win the Heisman. Like, just come on.
If Bo shits the bed, it will be the first time he has shit the bed in a long time.
Since the Georgia game? Is
like a very...
I mean, I know they lost against UW and OSU last year, but he was
hurt.
He was hurt.
I would be extremely surprised if Bo Nix has a bad game because he hasn't had one in a while.
Well, and the thing about the Bo Nix slander that cracks me up is they're like, oh, he's a game manager. Check down Charlie. He's leading the nation in passing. And granted, it's by like 10 yards. It's not like but he's got more than Nick or Penix. He's got more than Daniels. Thrown less than both of them. Yes, maybe he doesn't throw it 20 yards down the field like those two as much. But when people are like, oh, it's like when Chris Winkie won it. Not really. Not really.
Dude, he throws
a different year too,
he throws the ball deep. Like, I don't get this fucking argument that he doesn't throw the ball down the field. He fucking does. Every game he goes deep. And yes, he has Troy Franklin, who is a fantastic wide receiver and helps when you throw deep. But yes, he throws deep to him all the time. He throws deep to Tez all the time. Like, I don't get it.
It's because in September against like Portland State, Hawaii, Texas Tech, against like Hawaii and Tech, or against Hawaii and Portland State, they just didn't throw deep because why would they? And then against Texas Tech, and I think there was another game or two where his deep ball was just a little off,
a little over. Mm-hmm.
It was a little over.
Joey Harrington,
but from October on, it's not been a thing. It's just not. And oh shoot. Oh, he's just taking the 7-yard pass. You want to know what the most annoying fucking thing to watch when your team is on defense is the quarterback who just takes the 7-yard easy completion.
Yeah.
Who just hits the layup.
That's what Georgia did to us. Just
2 years ago, all anyone wanted, and in 2020 and 2021, Shuck and Anthony Brown, every Oregon fan was just screaming, hit the layups. Yes, you can hit the busted play. You have good your athletes are better than the other team. Just hit that 9-yard pitch that's boring and whatever. Bo Nix does it.
You know what
the ball doesn't hit the ground.
You know what I think goes into this argument is the fact that a lot of Oregon's big plays are coming on those. And so he takes the short pass to Tez. Tez turns it into 25 yards. He takes the short pass to Franklin. Franklin breaks a tackle, turns it into a touchdown.
They're good at scheming stuff.
Really good at scheming, really good at getting guys open in space, and they have wide receivers who are really good once they get the ball in their hands.
Well, and I heard
with your Niners though, I mean, when Debo was the talk of everything like 2 years ago, how many deep balls was he catching? It wasn't a lot.
Zero. It's all like end arounds and screen passes. Yeah.
And screen passes for him. Yeah, and he had like 15 touchdowns and was 10 rushing attempts a game. Also, if it works, you just do it because it's the safest thing you could do.
Brock Purdy has a perfect passer rating. You want to know why? Because he throws easy passes to Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, and those guys make plays after they catch it. Like he needs like 2 or 3 really good passes every game, and he does those. And so he's a great quarterback in the NFL. Like Bo Nix does that, but he goes down the field way more. And he's super accurate. He's like 80%. Like, what are we talking about? Why are we nitpicking Bo Nix? I'm so fucking tired of this.
But people do this because just go back to last year's Super Bowl. People will tell you today, because I literally heard it on the radio yesterday, that in the Super Bowl last year, Jalen Hurts, best player on the field by far. He did hit 2 splash plays, one to A.J. Brown and one to whatever. But Patrick Mahomes in the final 3 quarters went like 24 of 26. Granted, it was only for like 190 yards, but it was 3 touchdowns against the best defense, maybe the Niners, but you know what I mean. And you want to know what he just did? He didn't put the ball on the turf.
Yeah.
He just took that boring 7-yard pass to Juju Smith-Schuster. And I know it's not exciting, and we're talking NFL versus college. It's tomato a little bit. But sometimes... Listen, the thing about the Washington offense is in September it was beautiful because they hit every 25-yard pass that was thrown to the outside. They don't do it now. It's very clunky now because when you throw the ball 25 yards down the air, it's going to skew stats when you catch it. But that's a quick 3 and out a couple times a game. And that's what you can't look at me and say in the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, UW's offense, which is Penix throwing it deep, chunk plays, bang, it's exciting. It looks amazing on TikTok. Is better than what Bo Nix is doing.
No, and you brought up Mahomes. This year, Nix reminds me of Mahomes in the fact that if it's 3rd and long, I have almost pure confidence he's going to complete the pass for a first down. You saw it against the Oregon State in that, at least the first quarter. Bucky in the offense and running was not happening. It was just did not look good. I don't know if Oregon State just schemed it well and was trying to stop the run more.
They're good against the run.
Nix had multiple, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s. And I had I had a complete faith he was just going to hit Franklin in the middle of the field for 13 yards and pick up the first down. And that's what he said in the Super Bowl. That's what Mahomes did. Every 3rd down, you pick up that first down and keep chugging along.
That was a brutal first quarter for Oregon State, by the way. Like that first drive for Oregon where they converted the 4th downs and used like 9 minutes and got a touchdown out of it. Like that is demoralizing. We've seen that on the other end many times, and so we know how much that sucks. And then they came back and did it. Like they scored like right after it too, and you're just like, oh, okay, this game's over.
like when people were trying to say that, well, Oregon State quit. They quit. They didn't come to play. Oregon didn't do to OSU what they did to like USC, which is first 2 possessions, they ran the ball once, they threw it 3 times, they had 14 points and 197 total yards of offense. Nope. Oregon State came out. They played hard. Maybe they were a little distracted, but that 9-play drive where they just 9-minute, whatever it was, they just methodically 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. Oh, here's 11, 4, 5. Like, I don't buy the OSU had quit. And I also look at that drive, and they've had a couple of those this year where they can just score differently than UW can. Where on Friday, like UW is very down the field, splashy, quick, and it hasn't been working. And Oregon can do that. Like I said, we saw it against Cal, we saw it against USC, we've seen it lately, against Utah a little bit. But even against Utah, they had that one drive that was just right off the bat, 10 plays, boring, kicked your ass. We're here. Like, we're here. And I don't want to get too far into talking about UW and whatever on Friday, but the way that they can play on offense is goes back to kind of the Bo Nix thing. It's boring. It can be boring. They against USC and Oregon State and kind of Utah, they have kicked the shit out of those defenses. And they average like 36 points. Like, they're not dropping 60, and they're taking the fourth quarters off, like Ski said earlier. But from jump in different ways, they're scoring every time. And to me, if we're going back to the Heisman thing, that's kind of important, where you just kind of know. Like, Bo Nix is going to take them down and score, and they're just going to win. It just kind of is what it is. They do
score in different ways. And by the way, like, we talked about it last week. Like,
field goals.
Yeah, okay.
Well, non-field goals.
Not field goals. Yeah, fair enough. You talked about it last week, though. Oregon is going to start bringing out the Bo Nix run plays. And they did. Like, they had that little sweep play where he ran in the touchdown. And so those are going to start coming back into the offense. So it creates more ways that Oregon can attack you and more ways that they can score. So, initially you got to worry about Bucky, and you do. You absolutely do. And Jordan James, by the way, as much shit as we give them for giving Jordan James the ball too much,
James has actually looked better the last couple weeks than Bucky.
Jordan James has been great this season. He just has. And so you got to account for the running game, two-headed monster there. You got to account for Franklin and Tez. They're about to have 2 1,000-yard receivers for the first time, maybe ever. I don't know. I don't know that stat.
It's got to be. It
has to be. So you got to account for those guys. You got to account for Ferguson, who they've been including in the offense more the last few games too, and he is dominant. You got and then Nix now running the ball too. I mean, I don't know how you stop it. I really don't.
And then even like random, here's Trayshawn or Gary Bryant Jr.
By the way,
like
Holden,
Herbert.
When Holden gets the ball, he looks like the best receiver on the team. Like, he really does. Like,
he looks the most like an NFL player.
He does.
With the ball in his hand.
Very physical, very fast, very big. Like, so I don't know if Gary Bryant Jr. is okay. Like, he got injured and it didn't look very good. So, and they don't give injury updates or anything like that. So we'll see if he's going to be available. But I mean, man, there's just so many things Oregon can do, and I don't know how you attack it. I don't. Especially Washington, because their defense is questionable still. So
the crazy thing is that we've been talking nonstop about the offense. I think this is the best Oregon defense we've ever seen.
Maybe ever, yeah.
I mean, in all facets of it. I mean, they really the last game and maybe the game before, they really are keying in on like Massa, his jump from last year to this year. It's everywhere on defense. There's a jump.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and it's with this game against Washington. That first time around, I think they had the right game plan. You get pressure on Penix to make him jumpy, throw a bad pass, and you kind of leave your guys on an island. And if they do that again, I'm fine with that style again, because I trust that secondary to at least you're going to give up plays to Washington. As King always says, the other team is allowed to score. It's going to happen.
Their coaches make millions of dollars a year too. They can try.
Yeah. I just think in the end, I think the defense is so good compared to forever. I actually am having the defense back this team to the victory more than the offense this week.
Well, and like the thing is, I don't think I'm just reading the tea leaves. I don't think Florence is playing. So okay,
probably not.
There's more Bridges and Dante Manning than we would like. Okay, that's
Manning looked good.
But yeah,
Manning with a great interception against Oregon State.
Absolutely,
by the way.
And you want to know what? Can I say a little secret? I know we're supposed to make football safe. If Dante Manning suplexes Roma Dunze, not injures him, not hurts him, but just suplexes him with that and gets a penalty early, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Go for it. Send a message.
Set the tone.
Yeah.
And the thing about playing them, October 14th or whatever it was, 6 games ago, is I think Oregon coaches knew they were good and the players were believing on defense that they were good. But that's the key word. They were like believing.
There's a swagger to the defense.
They know they're good now. And like I said, I don't expect them to shut out UW, whatever. But I think the defensive line, the front 7, I crushed Bossa for the first month. He still gets swallowed up on run plays every once in a while. But okay.
Took shots at Birch too at the start of the year. Like, look at this guy.
Man,
not even moving an inch.
If they called the holds on Birch last week against the Beavs, they should have. He would have drawn like 4 flags.
No, he's like Bosa status right now. Nick Bosa gets held every single play, but they rarely ever actually call it.
I think they looked at the OSU guard and were like, he's a freshman. he shouldn't be playing tonight. We're not gonna. Because man, some of those plays, he had a great game. Yeah, so I think now the thing about the defense is the Oregon defense knows what they are. They believe. They just know it.
Fun thing too, because I talked about this before, where as seasons go on, you see the youth start to get better. So like Matty U, for instance, like you see him start to progress and like grow into his body a little bit and get more confident, and he starts to make plays. Got a sack against his brother this week. But it also works for everybody else, too, because you bring in the transfers like Birch, you got Jackson at the corner, you got Williams at safety. Like, Williams has been good all season, but they start to gain confidence. They get more comfortable in the defense. They get more comfortable playing with their teammates now. And right now, I don't know that there's really anybody better defensively than Oregon in the country. I mean, they're like
Georgia.
Other than the obvious, right?
Iowa.
Yeah, that's true. Iowa's defense is phenomenal, to be fair.
Yes, but Iowa also plays to only have 6 possessions in a game, so it does kind of skew it.
On purpose. Yep.
Yes.
I love the fans in the stands with the punt t-shirts.
I was
like, hey, did you guys see the guys with the punt t-shirts? And then the cut to them showing them literally every time Iowa punts, which was like 30 times. Yeah. Fantastic. So Oregon and Washington, Friday, Pac-12 championship. Oregon with a chance to win the first and last ever Pac-12 championship games. So we'll see if they can pull it off.
On the Pac-12 championship, did Husky fans think the Pac-12 championship was like invented this year?
Yes. But what's funny is I noticed a few Husky fans on Twitter complaining about the format, having to play Oregon. And they also, sometime in the last year, tweeted about how unfair it was because if it was in the old format, they would have played in it last year, not Utah. It's like, see, it's not a new thing, and it's not exclusively a Pac-12 thing. And by next year, I think like every conference is doing no divisions.
It should be a Big Ten thing right now because no one wants to really see Iowa play Michigan.
Yeah. Next year, the Big Ten goes divisionless.
Oh, I saw like Kirk Herbstreit kind of whining like, it makes the big game like not important now because they're just going to play each other in the championship. It's like,
shut the fuck up, Kirk. You're going to get to call like 3 extra games a year and pad on $7 million. I did
find it funny though that he pretty much alluded to that it's going to be Michigan and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship still like going forward. Like he didn't even like, he's like, oh yeah, they're just going to play each other every year twice or maybe even 3 times in the playoffs. It's like,
motherfucker, do you watch college football? Wait a minute.
I mean, I mean, sometimes they will, but yeah, it's not going to be a regular occurrence.
Yo. I think Ohio State and Michigan are great programs. I think they're really good in the Big Ten. I think Oregon and Washington and maybe even USC a little bit. I think they're going to come into that conference and make them look bad a few times. I think you put this Oregon team against either one of those teams this year, they fucking boat race them. Like,
I think
if Oregon plays Michigan in like the playoff or something like that, they are going to beat the ever loving shit out of them.
That's what it sounds like too.
And there is a hypothetical line out there. I forget, whatever. I forget what side it was, but their hypothetical line today in the Rose Bowl would be Oregon -1 over Michigan, which is kind of crazy. It is pretty crazy.
That's a pick'em game.
I'm just saying
give me
that
2 touchdowns.
Michigan has made two straight playoffs. They're gonna make a third. They're beating Iowa, and somehow Oregon in a hypothetical is -1. It's just a little crazy.
This is
like I said. I think -9.5 against Washington is disrespectful as hell. Yeah. I think they're gonna. Oh, I shouldn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is really foreign for me, being this confident in an Oregon football team. Like you guys know me. I'm like pretty pessimistic most of the time when it comes to the Ducks, but just watching what I've seen from this team this season, it would really surprise me if they go out against Washington and lay an egg, and it would really surprise me if they faced any team in the playoff other than Georgia, and it's like a competitive game. Like, I really think this Oregon team right now is as good as we've ever seen.
I wouldn't be surprised if a potential line for the national championship, if it was Georgia-Oregon. Maybe Georgia by kind of flip. Georgia by 1.5, maybe 2 points. Georgia's not more than a field goal favorite against the Ducks in the national title.
I feel like we're fucking setting us up for an Oregon egg laying like nobody's business, man.
Well, we still have. I mean, I'm still worried about Lanning in the big games.
Yeah.
I mean, he had. If you want to call this last Civil War a big game, even though like we said, not quite sure the Beavers' full mindset and their team's just not great. He hasn't really won that big one. Like, winning at UW would have been like that big one to jump off, be like, all right, we're a big game team here now. And maybe if beating Washington in this Pac-12 championship is it, I'll maybe springboard them into Michigan game.
It's weird, man, because just considering blowing out Utah at Utah, like destroying Oregon State in the Civil War, like these are not big wins apparently, which I sort of see where you're coming from. Like, Utah's definitely got a dog shit quarterback.
They didn't have the quarterback.
Kind of in a down year. I get it. But Oregon also handled business and blew them out. So,
but even like the USC
too, man. Yeah.
Listen, USC started 6-0, then it's 7-5. I totally get it. There was not a second you thought Caleb Williams was going to win that game. It was over in the 8 minutes left. The game was over. Mm-hmm. And Caleb Williams tried as he might. He was fine. Made some plays. They were down 22 with 9 minutes left in the fourth. I mean, and this is a tangent, but if Oregon or if the Pac-12 didn't play, the 9 conference games, they just played 8. Utah's ranked because they're 9-3 or whatever. USC's ranked because they're 8-4. So you can play with some of these numbers a little bit. Where like Tennessee is 8-4 and ranked maybe right inside the top 20.
Yeah.
Tennessee hasn't beaten anyone good. They lost to everyone with a pulse, but they played 4 shit teams out of conference and Vanderbilt. There's 5 wins right there. So some of these things, I get how you say they're not quality wins, but with just one stupid, shitty little win, it would be a data point. Utah and SC, even though we know what they are.
That's sort of the argument, one of the arguments against Oregon. I think I saw online that they haven't beat a current top 25 team. So none of their wins are against current top 25 teams. Because they keep knocking everybody out, dude.
But Oregon State is 20.
Yeah. So
Did Utah finally fall out?
No, I think they are 26, I believe.
So Nuttine with a good point, because maybe this is it. Like, Lanning's energy has been different. And we have had those documentary-style 5-minute videos to watch after every win, and we see the energy of the team. So maybe that's what's having an influence on me. Maybe that's why I have all this fucking bravado that I've never had before about this program, excuse me. But it does feel different, doesn't it?
Well, maybe I mean, it's definitely different, because if you look at coaches that have made runs, okay, Mario, yeah, okay, tough guy. We can say he's a tough guy. Kind of a meathead. Helfrich won a playoff game by 39, made a title game. Dork. We all wanted him to work. I don't think any of us believed he was going to work. Chip Kelly was a genius, but not really a tough guy. Not really a jerk in that sense. Not a bully. Dan Lanning, kind of a bully.
Absolutely.
Kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. Like, I'm not saying he's out there doing Bear Bryant Junction Boys bullshit, but I think he hammers the point home a little bit more. Like I think it was last week where he was saying that last year when they didn't have the numbers to do it, that's why he didn't do it. But when they would want to hit in practice, some of the players weren't all on, and like he's driven it home. So now this year, when they're just in shells. They skip a day hitting. They're a little, what? Why aren't we hitting? He's changed things, and I know that someone who's an Iowa State fan or a Kansas State fan, whatever, they can hear me say this and say it's corny. Yeah, it kind of is, but he's changed the mindset. Like I don't watch them and think they're a liability on defense at all anymore. Like I said, they're going to give up big plays on Friday. It's just how UW operates, and they're good. Players are good, but I think they're mean. I think they're just nasty, and I think it just starts.
Look at all the penalties they get. If you take out the procedural penalties, a lot of them are, like I said, angry, trying to hurt. Not hurt, but trying to hit someone hard. Penalties or finishing off a block penalty kind of thing.
And they sit on people and they suplex them.
Yeah.
And they remember shit and they take shit personally.
Oh, they do. And it's not corny. And it's not corny like Dion does, where, we don't need to rehash that stuff. But that September, it's personal. It's like Matt Rule is like, I've never even talked to Dion. I don't know.
Personal? Wait, what?
I don't know him. Yeah. And some of that's invented stuff too by Dan Lanning for sure. All coaches do it,
and Tosh, he's similar, kind of high energy.
Yeah, and it's
like
just
that too.
It's fun. If Oregon loses on Friday, it's like the most devastating loss I can think of.
Yeah,
because I think they're better. No Heisman. UW goes to the playoff. UW has now beaten Oregon 3 times in like 13 months. Brutal loss. Like that's worse than the depths of Stanford 2012 to me, even though if they had beaten Stanford, they would have won the national title because they were just better than Notre Dame. But that point aside, the loss would be brutal. I just don't think it's happening. I just don't. I'm really relaxed. And like I said, I was relaxed going into the game in Seattle, and they lost by 3. So that I'm not a great barometer there, but I think they're going to win.
And like I've said it for a couple weeks now, also that I think this is their best chance to win a national title. Also, I mean, going towards the future. 12-team playoff. That's kind of a crapshoot. You have a great team. You're gonna have to go through at least 2 good teams to get there.
That's a gauntlet, man. Yeah.
It's tough. It's going to be tough. I don't think people realize how hard it's going to be now to win a national title.
And I did not see it. I just saw a little blurb on Twitter yesterday. But apparently yesterday, Colin Cowherd made the comment that he thinks it'll be Georgia and Oregon in the final. And he was interviewing TJ Houshmandzadeh at the time. And Houshmandzadeh said Oregon's going to beat Georgia. So, I mean, all the hype is there. It's all there. It's That's why I said if they lose on Friday, it's gonna be dark.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dark.
Really bad time.
That's why.
Really
I
bad
ordered some
time.
more Ambien because holy shit. Oh man. I
Fire
don't want to wake up for a
Lanning.
while.
Fire
Yeah.
Lanning. Don't want to see his face anymore. Don't want to see any of those dumb videos. The worst.
And before we move on from this topic, Oregon fans, just give Tosh Lupoi credit.
Yeah.
I've banged on Tosh all the time. I've been rude to him. I was a jerk to him after the Texas Tech game. Please stop telling me Chris Hampton is calling the plays. You're making that up. We do not know. It's fan fiction. Like I said last week, Dan Lanning mysteriously called the plays against Utah and then not against OSU and then did against UNC, but not against UW because until we know for sure, Tosh Lupoi is calling the plays, and Tosh Lupoi has the 12th ranked total defense in the nation. Give him his flowers. I don't want to hear Chris Hampton.
Couldn't have said it
Most
better.
people say I couldn't even probably tell you what Chris Hampton looks like.
Nope.
I know he came from Tulane. That's all I know.
That's all we know.
Rode the wave into Eugene and started calling amazing defense. Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Before we move on to like the list and all this stuff,
Which
and
we
while I'm
should
being a
do,
jerk,
by the way. Yeah.
Yes, while I'm being a jerk to Duck fans, please, I've said this before, just be honest about Justin Herbert. On Sunday, after we watched him get swallowed up on a 4th down blitz on the last play of the game with the ball and a chance to win or tie, right? That happened.
Yep.
We watched that, right? That is the 4th time this season they've had the ball in their last possession with a chance to win or tie. And it has ended with Justin Herbert getting the shit blitzed out of him and either falling down like a house of cards twice or throwing 2 picks. And then the other 2 times they've had the ball with a chance to win or tie on the last possession, they tied it up against the Titans, lost in overtime. Tied it up against the Lions, lost in regulation. What are you going to do about that? Hey, defense, make a stand. But when I say Justin Herbert looks robotic and gets swallowed up by the blitz late in games, and you're telling me to pipe down and stop with the shtick, this information is free. Go to ESPN.com, look play-by-play. 4 times just this year, that exact play that ended the game on Sunday happened. 4 times. And I can name 2 off the top of my head last year against the Niners, terrible pick on a late blitz, and driving actually against the Kansas City, against Arrowhead, pick 6 against a blitz. He's not good late against the blitz. He's not a winner. We know he can throw the ball over the fucking mountain. Uncle Rico shit. I think he's still a top 10 quarterback. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Please stop. He's going into year 5, and he's not going to have a playoff win on his resume. Please be realistic. Someone told me on Sunday he's the hardest working man in the NFL. You don't know that. You're just saying that because he's from Eugene. You didn't say that even about Marcus Mariota. You're just saying it because he went to Sheldon. Stop it. Stop it. He's number 9 in the nation, in the world. That's amazing. Don't tell me he's number 3. Don't tell me he's number 4. He's 4 and 7. They're not making the playoffs. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Sorry. It's a thing.
No, at some point.
Me saying he gets swallowed by the blitz and gets robotic is such a mundane observation that anyone can see. I didn't say he doesn't have clutch gene. I didn't say he doesn't have juice. I didn't call him a loser. I just said when the blitz comes, he can't elude it. He can't. He doesn't.
Clearly, he can't throw either when he's under pressure.
No.
Yeah.
If it's bang bang, he's not good at it. You can say that about a lot of quarterbacks. Again, he's top 10 in the world. Just he's closer to 10 than 5. Just please stop.
Like I said. And clearly DCs know this because they're sending the blitz after him every time, and the big
you dial it up every time now. Like before that play started, I had a couple of plays, the San Francisco play from last year and the Dolphins play in the season opener this year, just running in my head, and the exact same thing happened. They blitzed to his backside. It was over. The play was over before it started. He crumpled like an origami, goose or whatever those things are. It just the thing with Oregon fans. Again, he's not top 10 in the world. Just chill a little bit.
At some point, yes, Staley is a terrible coach.
Of course,
he's always been a terrible coach, and he mainly focuses on the defense. So if you're an elite quarterback, if you're an elite quarterback, you should be making some of these plays at some point, and he doesn't.
And we all watched the Raider game in his second year of the season finale, clutch as hell. If Staley's not a dumb shit, they make the playoffs. Okay, we've seen him do it. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, just breathe a little bit. I'm tired of getting yelled at every single time Justin Herbert falls down on fourth down in the fourth quarter. It's just, it's what it is.
All right,
just one more thing. And also, stop tagging me when there's a racist Chiefs fan in the stands. Yes, I know, white Midwestern people, racist. I totally get it. Okay, stop tagging me. I've seen it. I've seen it in person. Yes,
I saw like a story online about the kid with blackface or whatever, and it was like, this story is actually misleading. If you turn his head, he actually has red and black, and it's
twice as racist. Yeah.
And it's like, well, actually,
they're like, oh, it's just the blackface. It's not the headdress.
Actually, I think I think you'll find if he does turn his face, it doesn't get better.
I mean,
it's all pretty racist.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Cleveland got rid of Chief Wahoo, the guy with the red face and the single feather in his hat.
Woof.
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, I understand, guys. I don't condone that.
Okay, let's do our list. The list came from our Discord. It has to do with Jonathan Smith leaving Oregon State for Michigan State. It is, I believe it was Duck Duck Chef who put it in the Discord again. It is top Oregon jobs better than coaching Oregon State. So top jobs you can get in the state of Oregon better than coaching Oregon State. If anybody else wants to start, go for it.
Well, I'll go. Simple one. My number 3 is a lumberjack. Get paid pretty well when you're outside.
It's like
could be worse.
It's like an actual good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
chance of death and injury.
By the way, Booble just said, if I'm gonna say, well, actually, I got to put the glasses on. So here. Well, actually, there. Make it into a meme, fuckers. I think that's the thing. You want to go or me?
Yeah. My number 3, working at Burgerville.
Not good.
It's a fine establishment, though.
Good shakes.
My number 3, working at Reser Stadium on free burrito night. Hey, because there's lots of diarrhea happening. Diarrhea.
Not in the press box, though, if you follow Nick Dashel's account. He brings his own sandwiches to games.
Wow. Bring your own food.
Yeah, he says they don't provide food, and that's how it should be.
Oh, wow. He saes that's how it should be? Yeah, no.
Yes, because I think it was Washington media people were like, there's no food, and your Keurig machine, which you have in 2023, is broken, and you just have a drip pot? Yeah, that's all they had was a drip pot of coffee.
I'll take those.
How do you not have a tub of Reeser Devil Egg potato salad at least?
Some warm potato salad.
Room temp, but yes.
Yeah, I'll take my black and white cookies that are actually green and yellow cookies from the Oregon Press Box any day, please. Thank you. All right. Very good food in the Oregon Press Box, if anybody's wondering. On a regular basis. It's the same food they give in the luxury suites. Very good stuff. Let's see. Number 3 is from the chat. Nutian says the mayor of Portland. Booble says IKEA cashier. Well,
meatballs.
Yeah. WCP says pumping gas. All right. Real answer. Yeah. But I appreciate all of our gas pumpers in Oregon. I appreciate you. I'm not one who enjoys getting out of his car in the winter to pump his own gas, and so I appreciate you keeping me warm. Yep.
My number 2 is a piggyback on the mayor of Portland, and that's the police chief of Portland.
we going back to blue here? Is that what's going on? What are we doing?
Oh yeah, all right. I mean, we're pro J. We're pro J6, aren't we? I just figured.
This is me not saying anything. My number 2 is the cop who arrested the Oregon State football player who stole the gay sheep. I just learned about the gay sheep part of that. I just remember him stealing a sheep, but I don't remember them saying it was a gay sheep. So apparently it was a homosexual sheep.
Who says this?
The internet. The internet says it.
The internet says it?
Yeah, it was an Oregonian article, so I don't know, man. Maybe it's another sheep stealing incident. I don't know. But yeah, that cop. That'd be an interest. Yeah, nope. Okay.
My number 2, gas station attendant. I know I can pump my own, but it's cold. Today, it was 26 degrees. I didn't want to get out of my car. Thank you, gas station attendant. Better job than coaching OSU football.
Salute. Appreciate you. 2s from the chat. Booble says ski lift operator at Willamette Pass. WCP says tow truck driver. Nuttian says dory man. I don't know what that is. What's a dory man? Does anybody know? We might need
Dory
that explained to us. Dory man. Huh. The guy who runs the Fat Kid Deals Instagram page. Worst job in Oregon State. Mine. Yeah. So go ahead. You're number 1. Go ahead.
I'll go. My number 1. King brought this up a week or 2 ago, and that would be working at that Kingsford plant out in Marcola and just having that smell on you, living on you.
Never goes away. The dories on the Oregon coast, he says, ? The fishing boats. So fishing boat.
So crabber, essentially.
Yeah. No thanks. My number 1. I'm actually going to say this one. The Oregon State baseball sports information director for Luke Heimlich. I think you should do that. We forgot about that, didn't we? Like,
there it is.
Story definitely went away. Go ahead.
You just touched us up on history right there.
Yep. Put you up on
We
game.
weren't even asking for it.
Nope. It's you, King. Number 1.
Oh, my number 1. Working at Weyerhaeuser and coming home smelling like Weyerhaeuser.
There's a theme here, isn't there? Like doing your job and smelling bad. Speaking of which, number 1 for Booble, writer at the Oregonian. WCP.
Registered guard, even worse.
Yeah. WCP says bud tender at your favorite dispensary. Now, I have seen like people who do that job, like people who are like actually at the fields, like separating them and putting them in things and stuff like that. That job sucks. Like I would not wish that job on anybody. It looks truly terrible. Like you smell horrible. You're like working with your hands all day long doing this. No thanks.
What do you have against big agriculture here, Braga? I mean,
yeah. It's agriculture university is what we're talking about. So
you got a little tangent on migrant workers while you're at it here.
Well, this is the January 6th podcast, so
yeah, the J6 edition.
J6 edition. Now, number 1 from
maybe this is
number 1 from Nuttian is Oregon CMS worker holding the rope after the Duck games.
Oh boy, brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Are you supposed to tip your bud tender?
Do they have a tip jar in front
They
of them?
do.
They do. Yep. I think you are. Yeah.
I ordered online. I drive there. They just have it in a bin.
That's a pickup order. That's a pickup order, man. That's the same as if you're picking up food from a restaurant.
Listen, they didn't make it. They just gave me a cartridge in a box. Mm-hmm. That's it.
It's a decision for you to make. Not everybody's on the same page, I think.
I mean, I always tip $1, but I'm like, you didn't really do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a
Way
guy
to
at
move-
Pizza
way to move
Pipeline
one
works
thing.
way. The guy at Little Caesars works way harder than the butt tender.
I'll say.
Way to pick up that box from that little box from a bigger box and putting it on the shelf for you to grab.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh, and we're gonna put it in this big Ziploc bag that's impossible to open for no reason. Oh, thanks.
It's kind of like any other thing, right? Like if the service is good, if you get really good service,
is there?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe nothing then. But
Wait,
if you go in and the person is like super excited and educated and they like actually teach you some shit, then you tip them. Give them $5.
Question though. Okay, I haven't gone and procured the electric lettuce in a head shop. When you go to a weed shop, if you didn't order it online, you physically go in there, you give them your card to, pay for it. Do they have a tip option like you would at a restaurant or something?
No, like
10, 15,
you
20%?
can't pay. You can't pay with card. First of all,
the couple of ones I've gone to that do take card is they have to run this stupid like weird thing where they overcharge you like $5 to get around government whatever, and they give you 5 $1 bills back, and you're like, okay, yeah, I just ordered 10 pearls in a you didn't do anything, but I see what you're doing. I got to give you one because giving you 5 would be preposterous, and that's why you broke it down into 5 ones. And now I'm mad, and I'm not against tipping. I just don't think that's a tipping situation all the time. Now, if I go in there and be like, hey, I want to ride Thunder Gulch Mountain with indica. That's a energy buzz, but not a brain drain. So I can wake up feeling great in the morning. Okay, then educate me. I don't do that. I just go, I'm scared of asking these people shit. I'm ordering it on my phone and, it tastes like apricot. Okay, good.
Booble says King just admitted to money laundering.
That's what they do. It's insane.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do lines, huh? This is going to be the longest podcast we've ever done, I think.
Okay, lines, everyone, lines, blah, 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 lines,
Yeah, lines will be
go.
quick.
Yeah.
All right, lines. I won this week with the pretty much trying to pick against Braga every pick.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I only got 1 point.
Not by much somehow, yeah. I was thinking it was going to be way worse for me.
No, so, I got a couple games here. We got some bowl. I'm not going to do all the bowls. That's ridiculous. But, you're up 7 on King and up 9 on me. So this is almost looking like it's all she wrote.
Unless I bone every single one of these games.
Yep.
Yeah.
So first game, I just did the important games here. So Oklahoma State, Texas 14.5 point favorites.
Welcome.
I got Oklahoma State with the points.
Oh, good. I'm taking Texas as well. Because Texas is going to have to try to show out and make it be like, oh, we won by 40 again after they just beat terrible Texas Tech team with like third string quarterback.
They are still Texas after all.
Next game, the big one, SEC Championship, Georgia, 5.5 point favorites against Bama.
Georgia, not buying the Tide.
I'm Georgia as well. I don't know how they escaped that Iron Bowl. Insane.
Georgia as well. Yep.
Big Ten, we got great championship. Michigan's 23.5 point favorites against Iowa.
Michigan, come on.
Iowa can't score points. Michigan star pick.
Yeah. Two-parter to that. Iowa team total 5.5 points over under that.
I'm going under. Going
down. Going under.
Yelling
right.
timber.
You know what? I'm going to go over. I think they get 6 exactly.
I think I'm going over too. Yeah, I think they're going to get a touchdown some way. It's going to be a fluke, but they'll get a touchdown.
Oh, they're not getting a touchdown. They'll get a good turnover, to have a chip field goal.
Kick a couple field goals.
And they'll miraculous another field goal.
Their quarterback's really bad. If you haven't watched him, watch him. He's awful. It's pretty impressive.
The other one, this is the one everyone is going to be tuning in for, and that's Louisville against Florida State. Seminoles 2.5-point favorites against a team that just blew it to Kentucky.
I'm rolling with the Noles.
Ooh.
Yeah, same here.
You know what? I'm kind of with you guys. Just the rest of Florida State's team is good. I mean, Benson's stud. I mean, they got good defenders. I'm going to take Louisville, though, because I just do not want to see Florida State in. And then, and I'm going to star pick that one, just add a little bonus to it. Last one, Ducks, 9.5 against the Huskies.
You start, Alex.
Washington with the points. I think it's. I genuinely feel like Oregon could beat them by like 21, but I think it's going to be a touchdown. So I think Washington with the points.
I'm going Oregon because Oregon has not scored less than 31 points in a game this year, the entire year. And since Oregon has played Washington, they have had a game with no offensive touchdowns, a game with 20 points on offense, and a game with 24 points on offense. So just playing the odds, 9 points. If they win 31-20, I win.
I am going to take Oregon as well. And a little add-on to this. The total for this game is 66.5. I really like the under.
I like the under, too.
By the way, listener, you see what Ski's doing, right? He's down like 9 points. He's adding the over-unders.
Oregon star pick, by the way. Oregon star pick.
Yeah. The total, the over-under for the Oregon game is not a pick. I'm just, I think it's going to be like King says.
Okay, gotcha.
Watkins not going to score a ton, and I don't think the Ducks are going to drop. They're not going to drop 50 on them.
So you're thinking it's the under?
I think the under. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to pick that because then somebody could use that against me when it comes down to like a close scoring thing next week. I think I probably got you guys. So, and that's it.
Yeah, I think.
Are we gonna do bowl games too? Probably not.
Right?
I'm
gonna pick some bowl games. Not obviously not the what is it, like the Cheez-It Bowl and those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we'll close out the season with some bowl games. See if you guys can catch me. All right. Let's do trivia. Close this out. We're over an hour right now, which is frankly too long to have a conversation with anybody. So, so King won last week. He gets to start this week. If you have not heard trivia, I'm going to ask King a question. If he gets it right, he gets a point. If he gets it wrong, Ski gets a chance to steal it with multiple choice. It is best out of 10. There are only 10 questions. This week's trivia, because we've already done Washington trivia this year, is Washington/Oregon Pac-12 trivia. It's going to be a lot of like statistical leaders and random things. As this will be the last Pac-12 game either of these schools are ever going to play, I figured we'll do some Oregon-Washington. The answer to the question is going to be an Oregon or a Washington player or coach or whatever. You just got to figure out which one. So, okay. Oregon and Washington are numbers 1 and 2 in terms of most wins by a starting quarterback in conference history. Who is number 1? It's either going to be a Washington or an Oregon quarterback.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning is the correct answer. Nice job. That's a good one, man.
Tyler.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might have said like Mariota or something. That's good. Ski, who is the only player in conference history to throw for 300 yards, rush for 200 yards in the same game?
Masoli?
Incorrect. Your options, King. Masoli, Mariota, Tuiasosopo.
Marcus Tuiasosopo. I think against Arizona?
That is the correct answer. I believe so, yes. That was I think he was like the first guy to ever pass for 300 and rush for 100, and he also just happened to get 200.
It is too.
So, yeah.
And if you look at the highlights, very archaic.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so back to King here, who leads 2-0. There has only been one player to rush for 200 yards in a quarter in Pac-12 history. Came in 1996 against San Jose State. Finished with 222 yards on 16 carries in the quarter. Who was the player?
Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon.
That would have been my guess, too.
You were nailing this. Yeah, he also had 83 receiving yards in the quarter. So he had 305 total yards in the first quarter against San Jose State. That is also a record, by the way, in case you were wondering. Let's see. Back to ski now. King leads 3-0. Who holds the conference freshman rushing yards record?
Jesus.
And it's a duck or a dog.
I don't know why. Miles Gaskin.
Is incorrect. Your options, King. Gaskin, LaMichael James, or Chris Polk?
It's got to be LaMichael James.
It is indeed LaMichael James. 1,546 yards in 2009. Chris Polk also had 1,113 in 2009. That was a good year for freshman running backs. Gaskin was second, by the way, though, ski. So 1,300 yards. So this goes back to King, who has a chance to win. Let's see. Okay. Which running back is the only player in conference history to rush for over 1,000 yards in 4 seasons?
Let's say Miles Gaskin.
That is the correct answer. So King wins. Wow.
Sweet.
The state of Washington honkism continues.
That's
man.
right.
Jeez. All right, I might as well just run through the rest of the questions. Let's see. UCLA's Terry Donahue holds the record for the most conference wins as a head coach with 98. Which coach is one behind him with 97?
Don James.
Don James is correct. So King leads 6-0. This is like Mr. Baseball where he gets to strike 8 or whatever.
In his dream.
Yeah, exactly. Who is the only Washington or Oregon player to win the Maxwell Award? For most
Is that the best running back?
It's
or
the most outstanding college football player. It's basically the Heisman, but not the Heisman.
Steve Empman.
Do you have a guess, Ski?
How about Mariota?
Mariota is
Lincoln
the
Kennedy.
correct answer. Yep.
That seemed too obvious.
Mariota's the only guy ever, which is crazy. Yeah. Who holds the Pac-12 bowl game record for most passing yards an attempt in a single game? It is a hint. It is a significant Rose Bowl for one of the teams.
Aaron Thomas?
Nope.
I'm trying to think of like a UW guy.
One could say it's when Oregon's program actually began.
Danny O'Neal.
Danny O'Neal is right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was 41 of 61 in the 95 Rose Bowl. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a good game.
It's a lot.
It was a great game.
Who is the most recent player to be taken in the first round of the NFL draft from either team?
Christian Gonzalez?
Yep. That is correct. Washington, by the way, 0 players drafted last year, in case you were wondering. 0. An Oregon and Washington player share the record for most punt return touchdowns in a season with 4. Name one of them for a point. Name 2 of them for 2 points.
DeAnthony.
Mm-mm.
Most
punt
Dante
returns.
Pettis.
Dante Pettis is one.
Pettis.
Most punt returns for a touchdown in a season. The other guy's an Oregon player.
Cliff Harris.
Cliff Harris. Attaboy. Yep.
Yeah.
Cliff Harris and Dante Pettis. And that's it. All right. So King won very easily this time. This is the quickest win.
Where's my movie questions?
in
Goddamn it!
trivia history.
Where's
Yeah.
the band?
Where's the band?
The band and movie stars. Otherwise, Ski's got no shot. Especially if we're talking about like Washington or Washington State. It's already
Yeah, you got no shot.
when it begins.
I feel like
or Portland State, as we learned. Yeah.
I only got to answer 2 questions, and I think I got the second person, not the top person, on both of them.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're in the ballpark. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Movie podcast on Sunday is Santa with Muscles. It's on Tubi, so watch it and listen to us talk about it. Oh, man. Santa with Muscles. Hulk Hogan Christmas vehicle. Get on that, guys. All right, later. Bye.